the Ring City. In my opinion, this place is absolutely awesome, including the side area of the Dreg Heap. I personally like the Dreg Heap a little less because it's all just ashy, and you have like a lot of those Herald curved sword guys in the swamp. Because I mean, come on, we already got Farron Keep. Why do we need another poison area? Yeah. There are some really good weapons in this area, like the Giant Door Shield and the Murky Hand Scythe. And I think the Ring City is a great expansion to Dark Souls 3 as a whole. And with the area of the Ring City, I really like the Ringed Knights, and in my opinion, there's like really only one boss that's actually subpar compared to the rest of them. But the rest of the bosses are pretty good, in my opinion. Honestly, my favorite boss in the game is in this area. And I hope you guys enjoy my review on Dark Souls 3, The Ring City. I'm not going to be going into depth on like weapons and stuff. I'm going to be just talking mainly about the bosses, which in my opinion are a core part of the Ring City. I'll be releasing a part 2 to show like weapons and stuff. And then I'll try to do the same for Ashes of Ariandel. And I hope you guys enjoy. So, we got Half-Light. He is, in my opinion, the worst boss in the Ring City DLC, because as long as you have a heavy weapon like Lothric Knight Greatsword, you can easily just R2 spam these guys, and there's no real way they can fight you back. And then that guy just shows you the inside of his skirt for some reason. And then you gotta wait like 30 seconds for possibly a player. But in this case, I got Swiss Cheese Man, one of the most exploitable AIs ever. Honestly, I think the fight's pretty fun if you actually get a player, because there's varying skill differences and you can actually have an interesting PvP fight with normal enemies facing you. But if you do what I did, you can essentially just tank one hit and spam him to death with R2s. So, I think Half-Light is a very subpar boss at best. Slave Nightgale. He is my favorite character in the game, and he's also my favorite boss. Because his fight starts off where he's attacking you with a basic sword and everything, to where he deals really high damage, but he seems manageable, and he's also very erratic. You also have to deal with his spin attacks and those plunge attacks, and most of his attacks just avoid your shield, so it's not really even worth blocking in this fight. But I think the cutscenes are absolutely great, and that the character design for a Gale who is very decrepit and seeking the Dark Soul is very nice. He can be easily exploited with poison, but then again, you still have to dodge all of his attacks. And in his second phase, Hollow Slayer Greatsword deals extra damage. Personally, this fight made me very emotional during my first try of it, but after I got after the trip of, oh, this is so cool and super awesome, Gale gave a very real challenge, which I think some of the other bosses provide a little less of, but then again, they're earlier in the game. And I like Gale because he's someone that you've met and you've had fight with for you and fight with you a couple times. And hell, if you notice, some of his messages, some of the default ones the developers give you, have a Gale like Ghost as the NPC. And I like the mechanic of the lightning and how it adds a factor to where Gale can be damaged by the lightning. And it's intriguing to where his cloak actually adds on to his range later on. I think that was an interesting boss choice that I like. But this fight is very difficult solo, and even with phantoms, it adds on to his HP, and it can make him more erratic if the AI accidentally glitches out a little. But overall, I personally think Gale is a absolute masterpiece of a Souls boss with very few flaws. I think really the only thing that I don't like at times about him, but at the same time I do like about him, is how it can sometimes kind of feel like bullshit if he combos you with his way of like Corona attack, or just does his thing where he has his crossbow and then he has like a bunch of sword attacks, or he just does his big death skull attack, or whatever you want to call that. And even the weapons you get off him are super cool. The crossbow, it's fully automatic, it does take up a lot of stamina and all. And his sword, you can do some of his spin attacks. But sorry for fanboying and all that type of stuff, but I think Gale is the best boss in the Souls series. The Demon in Pain and Demon from Below are some kind of interesting bosses because they have the type of Ornstein and Smo mechanic where one boss kind of revives the other, but it's mainly just their power up by combining each other. You can have two variants of the final version of them, the Fireball and the Laser version. The Laser version is easier because his attack has a charge type thing where he just sits down, charges it up for a little bit, and then he just stands still while his laser attack's happening. And you can get up behind him for some easy damage. I personally had a very tough time with this fight because I was using Pyromancer when these are fire demons. And I think that if you have a actually good physical damage weapon, or like a Black Knight sword, it's very, it's not that hard to kill. And overall, I think they're a decent boss. They're not my favorite, but they're not something that's absolutely horrible. And plus, they are the boss that lets you get into the Ring City. And next on the list, we have the boss, which everyone has, like most people have as their favorite. Personally, I think it's a good boss, and it's hard, but I just like Slave Knight Gale better for aesthetic reasons. And Midir is extremely tough as nails, and his fire attacks, they can often one-shot to two-shot the bulkiest of physical and fire damage defense characters, and you have to have like a 40 in vitality, vigor to have a solid shot at withstanding even one of his attacks. And even his clip damage is absolutely insane. Heck, with his charges, he can 3-shot you. But overall, with the phase 2 where he starts using more dark magic, I think it's very interesting with like the aesthetic reason of he's a dragon who was meant to stop the dark, but ended up being consumed by it instead. Especially with those cool laser attacks. And now, I want to talk about the areas of the Ring City. The Ring City to start out with itself. I think the start of it is a very stunning and beautiful experience that I think everyone should probably experience if they're going to do the Soul series. With these archers, I also really like them because they add a form of challenge, and yes, they can be very annoying, but you do have cover to hide behind, and there are those two skeletons there. And plus, you can find a lot of very valuable loot with some new interesting forms of the ghost enemies. And especially the story of this place on how it's like the ramparts of the City of Hollows and all that. But I think where I really like it is deeper within the Ring City, where everything is like being consumed in the dark swamp, and you're seeing remnants of areas, and you're seeing turned and decrepit versions of the last residents of this place. I also like the vines because they show no one has been here, or no one's been taking care of this place. And I think that this is a great place for the conclusion of the series. And just for some clarification, this is a opinion-based thing for anyone who's saying that, ooh, this is all, you're all wrong about this. But I do take account into everyone's opinions, and if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. Alright, let's talk about the area that you fight Slave Knight Gale, and I've been showing you for a little bit. I personally really like this area because it shows the world crumbled and all of the structures that have been created starting to fall, and most of them have fallen, and there's only these small little tiny bits of what once was left. In the distance you can see decrepit kingdoms, and you can find really only 4 living things in this area. You can find Slave Knight Gale, you can find a dying pygmy lord, which goes by that trail of black goo that you see there. You can find a singular ringed knight wielding the ringed knight greatswords. And you can find Shira, the final invader of the series. And I like this area because it really puts in a setting of desolate. The Dark Souls series already has a desolate and it's full of despair, but this is more of a thing where it's, will there be any form of hope, which it doesn't really look like for the despair to end. This is the final conclusion. This is the end of Dark Souls 3. I personally really like the DLC overall. And that I like how there's the chairs of the Pygmy Lords, how there's what looks like used to be their inner sanctum, how you see the old withering, decaying body of Princess Filianore, who was used to keep time at a standstill. And personally, I like how the ghosts of players kind of add a nice touch to it. Oh yeah, and fun fact, if you use the procrastination emote, you can put your face in a bonfire. Yeah, just thought that was a neat fact, you know. And now I'm going to get back to all the serious stuff, like how there's these dead pygmies around what is the last flame and all. Personally, I would rate the Ring City a 9 out of 10 because I think it is one of the best DLCs out there for any game, in my opinion. And that there's very few flaws with it. And please let me know if you guys like this type of content more over my normal type of videos or like my Magic the Gathering videos. And just, I think the Ring City is one of the best game expansions ever. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and have a good day, and remember to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and comment if you have any suggestions. And have a good day. Bye. Oh yeah, and sorry for not uploading a truckload. And bye bye.